Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the colony's main building, watching the morning sun rise over the wheat fields. The golden light made the grain dance in the gentle breeze. He smiled as he sipped his coffee. 10 years of hard work had turned this empty planet into a home for 50,000 people. Harvest Moon was everything they had dreamed of when they left Earth. Clean air, fertile soil, and plenty of space for everyone. The colonists had built small towns connected by dirt roads. Children played in the streets while their parents worked the fields or maintained the equipment. It was simple and peaceful. Lisa Carter walked up behind him, her boots clicking on the metal floor. She was the head of colony security, though there was not much to secure. The biggest problems they faced were broken farm machines and the occasional wild animal that wandered too close to the settlements. "Morning, Jake," Lisa said, joining him at the window. "The harvest is looking good this year. Better than good, actually. We might have enough surplus to trade with the mining colonies in the next system." Jake nodded. "That's what I like to hear. Any word from the patrol ships?" "All quiet, same as always." Lisa paused, looking out at the peaceful scene. "Sometimes, I wonder if we're too isolated out here. The nearest human colony is 3 jumps away. If something happened, it would take weeks for help to arrive." "Nothing's going to happen," Jake said. "We're too far from the main shipping lanes. Nobody even knows we're here except for the supply ships that come twice a year." Bobby Chen burst into the room, his face pale with worry. He was the colony's chief engineer, responsible for keeping all their technology running. Bobby was usually calm and steady, but now he looked terrified. "Jake, Lisa, you need to come to the communication center right now," Bobby said, breathing heavily. "We've got ships in orbit, big ones." Jake and Lisa followed Bobby through the corridors of the administrative building. Other colonists had gathered, talking in worried whispers. Jake could see fear in their eyes. They had all come here to escape the complications of Earth, not to face new dangers. The communication center was crowded with technicians staring at their screens. The main display showed radar contacts in orbit around their planet. Jake counted at least 20 ships, each one larger than anything the colony possessed. "When did they arrive?" Jake asked. "About 10 minutes ago," said Mary Phillips, the communications officer. "They just appeared out of nowhere, no warning, no advanced scouts. The signatures don't match any human designs." Lisa studied the display. "Those are warships, military vessels. The power readings are off the charts." Before Jake could respond, the communication system crackled to life. A harsh alien voice filled the room. The words were translated by their computer systems, but the tone was clear even without translation. This was a demand, not a request. "Humans, of this world I am Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian Dominion. This planet now belongs to our empire. You have 48 hours to evacuate all personnel and equipment. Any who remain after this time will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." The room fell silent. Jake felt his heart pounding as the reality of their situation hit him. These aliens were not here to trade or explore. They wanted to take everything the colonists had built. "This must be a mistake," Jake said, activating the communication system. "Commander Vextar, this is Colony Administrator Jake Morrison. We are peaceful farmers with no military capabilities. This world has been legally claimed and settled by humans under galactic law. We have documentation proving our right to be here." The alien's laughter was cold and mechanical. "Your laws mean nothing to the Dominion. We take what we want, when we want it. This world has resources we need. You are simply in the way." "Please, be reasonable," Jake continued. "We have families here, children. These people have spent years building their homes. Surely we can reach some kind of agreement." "The only agreement is your departure," Vextar replied. 48 hours. Use this time wisely." The communication ended with a harsh click. The colonists in the room looked at each other in shock and fear. Many had tears in their eyes. This was their home, their life's work, and now strangers from space were taking it away. Lisa stepped forward, her jaw set with determination. "We can't just give up. This is our world, our home." "What choice do we have?" asked Bobby. "Look at those ships. We have 3 patrol vessels and some mining equipment. They probably have enough firepower to turn this entire planet into glass. So we just run? Lisa demanded. We abandon everything and start over somewhere else? What happens when the next group of aliens decides they want that world too? Jake looked around the room at the faces of his people. These were farmers and engineers, teachers and shopkeepers. They had never signed up for a war, but they had also never signed up to be pushed around by bullies. Mary, can you get me a secure channel to Earth? Jake asked. It'll take time to establish a connection across this distance, she replied. And it'll be expensive. The relay fees alone will cost us thousands of credits. Do it anyway, Jake said firmly. If we're going to make a stand, Earth needs to know what's happening. As Mary worked to establish the long-range communication link, Jake watched the alien ships through the windows. They hung in the sky like metal predators, waiting for their prey to flee. He thought about the children playing in the streets, the families who had worked so hard to build new lives on this world. The connection to Earth finally opened. Jake took a deep breath and spoke into the microphone. This is Harvest Moon Colony, Administrator Jake Morrison speaking. We are under attack by hostile alien forces demanding our evacuation. We are requesting immediate assistance. We will not abandon our home. He closed the channel and looked at his people. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. The aliens thought they were dealing with helpless farmers. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. The Galactic Council chamber was a massive dome on the neutral world of Concordia. Representatives from 12 different species sat in a circle, each at a desk designed for their particular body type. The architecture was meant to show equality, but everyone knew some species held more power than others. Counselor Thiss of the Hive Collective tapped her clawed fingers on her desk. The insect-like alien's compound eyes reflected the light as she studied the report that had just arrived. The Zephyrians had attacked another human colony. This was not the first time she had heard such news. Ambassador Krell of the Andalite Federation adjusted his position on his floating platform. The blue-skinned alien looked concerned as he read his own copy of the report. Another territorial dispute, he said in his melodic voice. The Zephyrians seem to be expanding again. This is different, Thais said, her voice like the buzzing of 1,000 insects. They have attacked humans. Do any of you remember what happened to the Corvan Empire? Several council members shifted uncomfortably. The Corvan had been a powerful military force 300 years ago. They had controlled dozens of star systems and commanded fleets of advanced warships. Then they had tried to claim a human world. Within 2 years, the entire Corvan Empire had vanished. No one knew what had happened to them. Elder Sage Mirren of the ethereal conclave floated above her seat, her translucent form shimmering in the chamber's light. The telepathic being's thoughts reached the other council members directly. I sense great disturbance in the mental patterns surrounding human space. Something ancient awakens. Counselor Zarek of the Militant Brotherhood laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the chamber. The warrior species had little patience for mystic warnings. You speak of old legends and ghost stories. The humans are a young race with limited military power. The Zephyrians have one of the strongest fleets in the galaxy. Thais stood up, her 6 arms moving in agitation. The archives of the Hive remember everything. We have records going back over 1,000 years. Every species that has attacked human settlements has disappeared or retreated with massive losses. Every single one. Coincidence? Zarek insisted. Or propaganda spread by humans to make themselves seem more dangerous than they are. Show them, Mirren's thoughts whispered into their minds. Show them what the archives contain. Thais activated the chamber's main display. Images and text filled the air above the council table. The records were ancient, some dating back to humanity's first contact with other species. Each entry told the same story. The Vorthon Syndicate had tried to enslave human prisoners of war. Their entire civilization had collapsed within 5 years. The Nexar Unity had claimed 3 human worlds, declaring the species too primitive to deserve planets. The Nexar were now extinct. The crystalline hegemony had destroyed a human research station. Their crystal ships had been found drifting empty in space, crews missing. Legends and stories, Zarek said, but his voice was less certain now. The Hive Collective's memory is perfect, Theiss replied. We forget nothing. These are not stories. They are records of what happens when humans are threatened. Ambassador Krell studied the data with growing concern. But look at human space. They have less than 50 colonies. Their fleet is small. They seem to focus on exploration and trade, not military expansion. Perhaps that is what makes them so dangerous, Mirren suggested. A species that appears peaceful but destroys its enemies completely when threatened. The chamber's communication system activated. Commander Vextar's image appeared on the display, his reptilian features showing arrogance and contempt. The Council had been trying to contact the Zephyrian fleet for hours. Honorable Counselor Vextar, this began. We must discuss your recent actions in human space. There is nothing to discuss, Vextar replied. The Dominion has claimed a new world. The human farmers will evacuate or face the consequences. This is a military matter, not a diplomatic one. You do not understand the danger you face, Theiss insisted. The archives show that attacking humans brings destruction. Please reconsider your actions. Vextar's laughter was cold and mocking. The mighty Hive Collective fears human farmers. How far have you fallen? These mammals have no military power. They grow crops and build small towns. My fleet could destroy their entire species in a week. Elder Sage Mirren's form brightened as her psychic abilities detected something disturbing. Commander, I sense a great darkness moving through space toward your position. Ancient fury awakens. Please withdraw your forces before it is too late. Mystical nonsense. Vextar snarled. The Zephyrian Dominion bows to no one, especially not to primitive mammals who think dirt and seeds make them strong. In 48 hours, that world will be ours. The communication ended abruptly. The council members sat in uncomfortable silence, each lost in their own thoughts. The records were clear, but they seemed impossible to believe. How could a species with such a small military presence be so dangerous? Counselor Theiss called up more files from the archives. She showed the council images of human worlds. They looked peaceful and prosperous with green fields and quiet cities. The humans seemed to prefer simple lives, focusing on farming and trade rather than conquest. Look at their colonies, Krell observed. They appear to have minimal defenses. A few patrol ships, basic shields, standard warning systems. Nothing that could challenge a major military force. That is what every species has believed. Theiss replied. That is what the Corvan Empire believed. They sent their greatest fleet to claim a human world. The fleet never returned. Search ships found the wreckage scattered across 3 star systems. Zarek was studying tactical data from previous encounters. These reports make no sense. Humans use conventional weapons and standard ship designs. Their technology is not advanced compared to major powers. How could they destroy entire civilizations? Myron's thoughts touched their minds again, carrying images of battles from long ago. They do not fight as others fight. They do not seek territory or glory. When threatened, they become something else, something that does not stop until the threat is gone forever. The chamber's sensors detected massive energy signatures moving through space at incredible speed. The signals were coming from the direction of human space, heading toward the Zephyrian fleet. The readings showed ships unlike anything in the galactic databases. What are those? Krell asked, staring at the display in amazement. Those are what happens when humans go to war, Theiss said quietly. The archives speak of ships that appear from nowhere, moving faster than should be possible. They hunt their enemies like predators, showing no mercy to those who threaten human civilians. Counselor Zarek checked his own species' military databases. The Militant Brotherhood kept detailed records of every known warship design in the galaxy. None of the approaching vessels matched anything in their files. Where did these ships come from, he demanded. How does a species with 50 colonies hide a fleet like this? Perhaps they were never hiding it, Mirren suggested. Perhaps they were simply waiting for someone to give them a reason to use it. The energy signatures were moving faster now, covering distances that should take weeks in mere hours. The humans were coming, and they were coming with technology that defied understanding. Theiss tried one more time to contact the Zephyrian fleet, but received only static. Either Vextar was ignoring their calls, or something was already interfering with communications in that region of space. "We should warn other species," Krell said. "If the humans are truly as dangerous as these records suggest, everyone needs to know." "Who would believe us?" Zarek replied. "A species that grows vegetables and raises livestock is the most deadly force in the galaxy? They would think we had lost our minds." Elder Sage Myron's form grew brighter as her psychic senses detected something that terrified her. "It is too late for warnings. The storm has begun. All we can do now is hope that the Zephyrians learn their lesson quickly, before the humans decide that making an example of them is necessary." The council members watched the display as the mysterious human ships continued their approach. Soon, they would discover whether the ancient warnings in the archives were true. Commander Vextar was about to learn why attacking humans was the last mistake most species ever made. The first attack came without warning. Commander Vextar was studying his tactical display when 3 of his ships simply exploded. No weapons fire was detected. No enemy contacts appeared on sensors. His powerful warships just erupted into flames and debris, as if struck by invisible hammers. "Report," Vexitar demanded, his voice cracking with panic. "Unknown weapons fire from multiple directions," his tactical officer replied. "I cannot locate the source. Our sensors show empty space, but something is destroying our ships." "Captain I." Turner watched the battle from the bridge of the Retribution. The human ships moved like hunting wolves, appearing just long enough to fire their weapons before vanishing again. The Zephyrian formation was strong against conventional attacks, but humans did not fight conventionally. "Target the command ship's communications array," Turner ordered. "Cut them off from their fleet coordination. Make them fight as individuals, instead of a group." The plasma cannons fired in perfect synchronization. Beams of superheated energy struck the Zephyrian flagship with surgical precision, destroying its communication systems without damaging the rest of the ship. Vextar's fleet was now deaf and blind, unable to coordinate their defense. On the planet's surface, Zephyrian ground forces had been preparing to land and secure key locations. Their dropships launched from the orbiting fleet, carrying thousands of soldiers equipped for planetary assault. They expected to face frightened farmers with basic weapons. Lisa Carter watched the enemy ships descend through the atmosphere. She activated the colony's hidden defense systems, and what had appeared to be ordinary farm buildings revealed their true nature. Missile launchers rose from grain silos, energy shields activated around population centers. The peaceful colony transformed into a fortress. "All teams, remember your training," Lisa broadcast on the secure channel. "These are not the first aliens to underestimate humans. They will not be the last." The first Zephyrian dropship landed, near the main settlement. Armored soldiers poured out, expecting to find cowering civilians. Instead, they met disciplined rifle fire from concealed positions. The colonists fought with a coordination that shocked the alien invaders. Tom Rodriguez led a squad of farmers who were also trained Marines. They moved through the settlement using tactics that took advantage of their knowledge of every building and street. The Zephyrians had superior equipment, but the humans had home field advantage and combat experience. "These are not civilians," the Zephyrian ground commander reported to his ship. "They fight like professional soldiers. Request immediate reinforcement." But reinforcement was not coming. In orbit, the human fleet was systematically destroying Vextar's ships with weapons that seemed to violate the laws of physics. Each attack was perfectly timed and targeted, designed to cause maximum damage while minimizing the chance of retaliation. Marine Sergeant Todd Miller's boarding party materialized inside a Zephyrian cruiser using transport technology that made the alien's head spin. One moment the corridor was empty. The next, it was full of humans in powered armor carrying weapons that could punch through starship hulls. The Zephyrian crew had never faced boarding actions like this. Human Marines moved through the ship like they owned it, their armor shrugging off enemy fire while their weapons cut through bulkheads in defensive positions. They fought with a ruthless efficiency that left no room for surrender. "Secure the bridge," Miller ordered his team. "Make sure no one escapes to warn their fleet command." The Marines moved through the ship's corridors like a disease, spreading, to every section and eliminating resistance with mechanical precision. The Zephyrians were fierce warriors, but they had never encountered anything like humans in close combat. Commander Vextar realized with growing horror that his superior fleet was being dismantled piece by piece. The humans did not fight for territory or glory. They fought to eliminate threats completely. Every ship that fired on the colony was marked for destruction. No escape was allowed. All ships, full retreat, Vextar ordered on emergency channels. Break orbit immediately. We are outnumbered and outgunned. But as his remaining ships tried to flee, they discovered that the humans had anticipated this strategy. Long range. Hunter ships waited at every possible escape route, armed with weapons that could track fleeing vessels across multiple star systems. Captain Turner's tactical display showed the remaining Zephyrian ships trying desperately to escape the system. His fleet had lost no ships and suffered minimal damage. The aliens' superior numbers and firepower had meant nothing against human tactics and technology. "Should we let some of them escape, sir?" his tactical officer asked. "To carry word back to their empire?" Turner considered the question carefully. The humans had spent decades preparing for this moment when some alien species would finally push too far. The response had to send a clear message to the entire galaxy. "Negative," Turner replied. "No survivors, no witnesses. When other species ask what happened to the Zephyrian fleet, they will find only empty space and debris. Let them draw their own conclusions." On the planet, the remaining Zephyrian ground forces found themselves surrounded and cut off from orbital support. Lisa Carter's colonists had herded them into a valley, using tactics that seemed almost instinctive. The aliens were trapped with no chance of reinforcement or escape. The Zephyrian ground commander activated his emergency beacon, hoping that some ship in his fleet would detect the signal and rescue his forces. But the only response came from Lisa Carter herself, speaking in perfect Zephyrian dialect. "This is Colony Administrator Lisa Carter," she said calmly. "You attacked our families. You threatened our children. You tried to steal our home. Now, you will learn why that was a mistake." "We surrender," the Zephyrian commander replied, his voice shaking with fear. "We yield to superior force. Please spare my soldiers." "Surrender is not an option," Lisa replied. "You came here to destroy us. You will not leave to threaten other human worlds." The final battle was swift and decisive. The colonists moved with the coordination of pack hunters, using knowledge of the terrain and weather patterns to their advantage. The Zephyrian soldiers were brave, but they were fighting on humanity's terms now. In orbit, the last Zephyrian ship tried to jump to hyperspace, but its engines had been sabotaged during a boarding action. As the ship's systems failed, Captain Turner opened a communication channel to Commander Vextar. "This is Captain Alex Turner of the United Earth Fleet," he said formally. "You attacked human civilians. You threatened to destroy their homes and families. For this crime, your fleet is forfeit." "Please," Vextar begged, his arrogance replaced by terror. "We did not know. We thought humans were weak. We made a mistake." "Yes, you did," Turner replied. "But the mistake was not thinking we were weak. The mistake was thinking we would let you live to threaten other colonies." The Zephyrian flagship's hull began to buckle under the concentrated fire of the human fleet. As his ship died around him, Vextar managed to send one final transmission on an emergency frequency that might reach other Zephyrian forces. "Do not attack humans," he broadcast with his dying breath. "They are not what they appear. They are predators. They are death itself given form. Warn everyone. Warn them all." The transmission cut off as the flagship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The human fleet had achieved total victory without losing a single ship. Every Zephyrian vessel had been destroyed or captured. Every enemy soldier was dead or prisoner. Captain Turner surveyed the debris field that had once been a proud alien fleet. His orders were clear. No evidence of human capabilities could be allowed to reach enemy intelligence networks. The wreckage would be collected and disposed of in the nearest star. On the planet's surface, Jake Morrison stood in his wheat field, watching the last pieces of debris burn up in the atmosphere. The golden grain swayed in the breeze, undamaged by the battle that had raged overhead. His colonists were already returning to their normal routines, as if repelling an alien invasion was just another part of frontier life. Lisa Carter joined him, her rifle slung over her shoulder. "The perimeter is secure," she reported. "No enemy, survivors. The threat has been eliminated." Jake nodded, watching his people go back to work. "Do you think others will come?" "Probably," Lisa replied. "But now they know what happens when you threaten human families. Maybe they'll think twice before they try." The hunt was over. The predators of Earth had shown the galaxy what happened when someone threatened their own. Word would spread, as it always did, and other species would learn to leave human colonies alone, or face the same fate as the Zephyrian Dominion. Humanity had been patient for centuries, appearing peaceful and harmless while they spread across the galaxy. But when pushed too far, they revealed their true nature as the most successful predator species in known space. The children of a death world had come home to defend their families, and the universe would never forget the lesson. Admiral Patricia Stone was reviewing supply reports in her office at the Pentagon when the priority alert came through. The red light on her communication panel flashed urgently, indicating an emergency transmission from deep space. She had been expecting this call for years, hoping it would never come. The message was simple and terrifying. Harvest Moon Colony was under attack. Hostile aliens had given the colonists 48 hours to evacuate or face destruction. Jake Morrison's voice was steady, but Patricia could hear the fear underneath. These were not soldiers calling for help. They were farmers and families facing an enemy they could not fight. Within minutes, Patricia was in the Situation Room with President William Hayes and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The room filled quickly as senior officials arrived from across the government. Defense Secretary Robert King took his seat at the main table, his face grim with the knowledge of what was about to happen. "How many hostiles?" President Hayes asked, studying the initial reports. "At least 20 warships," Admiral Stone replied. "The Zephyrian Dominion, according to our databases. They're a military empire that has been expanding into neutral space for the past decade." General Susan Parker, head of Colonial Defense Command, activated her tablet and began pulling up classified files. Harvest Moon is a peaceful agricultural settlement. 50,000 civilians, minimal defenses. They have 3 patrol ships and basic shields. Nothing that could stand up to a military fleet. "What are their intentions?" the president asked. "Complete evacuation of all human personnel," Stone replied. "They want the planet for themselves. The colonists refuse to leave." The president was quiet for a moment, considering the situation. Patricia knew what he was thinking. The easy solution was to evacuate the colony and avoid a conflict with a powerful alien empire. But that was not how humans worked. When someone threatened their families, diplomacy ended. "How long to reach Harvest Moon with our fastest ships?" Hayes asked. 3 weeks with conventional drives," General Parker replied. "But we're not using conventional drives. Protocol Omega has been activated. Our response fleets are already moving." Defense Secretary King opened a secure channel to military bases across the Sol system. Patricia watched as hidden facilities throughout the outer system came online. Asteroid mining stations revealed themselves to be weapons factories. Research outposts became fleet command centers. The peaceful solar system transformed into a war machine. Captain Alex Turner received his orders while commanding the UES Retribution in the asteroid belt. The ship looked like a standard heavy cruiser, but that was carefully designed deception. Hidden beneath its ordinary exterior were weapons and drives that incorporated technology decades ahead of anything other species possessed. "All ships prepare for quantum jump," Turner announced over the fleet communication channel. "Destination, Kepler 400.2b system. Mission priority, eliminate all hostile forces threatening human civilians." The quantum drives were humanity's greatest secret. While other species traveled through space using conventional faster-than-light engines that took weeks to cross interstellar distances, human ships could quantum tunnel across the galaxy in days. The technology was based on principles that most alien scientists considered impossible. Dr. Kevin Walsh arrived at the Pentagon to brief the military leaders on what they faced. The xenobiologist had studied the Zephyrian Dominion for years, preparing for the day when conflict became inevitable. The Zephyrians are a proud warrior species, Dr. Walsh explained. They respect strength and despise weakness. They have never encountered serious resistance from the species they have conquered. Their tactics rely on overwhelming firepower and intimidation. What are their weaknesses? General Parker asked. They have never fought humans, Walsh replied simply. They think we are soft because we prefer farming to fighting. They have no idea what evolution on Earth produced. Admiral Stone activated the classified briefing files. The room's main screen showed images of Earth's history, focusing on humanity's violent past. Wars, predators, natural disasters, and mass extinctions filled the display. Earth is what we call a death world, Stone explained. Most planets that produce intelligent life are relatively safe and stable. Earth tried to kill us for millions of years. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and predators that hunted our ancestors. Only the most adaptable and ruthless species could survive. The result, Dr. Walsh continued, is a species optimized for survival and warfare. We are endurance predators, capable of pursuing prey until it collapses from exhaustion. We form pack bonds that allow unprecedented cooperation. We are problem solvers who adapt to any environment. President Hayes studied the tactical reports coming in from the fleet. How many ships are we sending? 3 battle fleets, Admiral, Stone replied. 47 ships total, including 12 heavy cruisers and 3 dreadnoughts. Each ship is equipped with quantum drives, plasma weaponry, and adaptive defense systems. Is that enough? The president asked. General Parker smiled, but there was no humor in it. Sir, that's more firepower than we used to conquer the entire asteroid belt. The Zephyrians have no idea what they're facing. The first human ships began, arriving at Harvest Moon within hours of receiving the distress call. The quantum drives allowed them to appear anywhere in the system without warning, giving them tactical advantages that alien fleets could not counter. Captain Turner's ship emerged from quantum space just outside the planet's gravity well. His sensors immediately detected the Zephyrian fleet in orbit around Harvest Moon. 21 ships arranged in a standard blockade formation. They were powerful vessels, but they followed predictable patterns. All ships switched to stealth mode, Turner ordered. Begin approach pattern Alpha 7. Target selection as follows. Priority targets are command ships and communications relays. Secondary targets are weapons platforms and shield generators. The human fleet became invisible to Zephyrian sensors, using technology that bent light and absorbed electromagnetic radiation. To the aliens, it appeared as if the human ships had simply vanished. They had no way of knowing that death was approaching from multiple directions. On Harvest Moon's surface, Jake Morrison received a coded transmission from the approaching fleet. The message was simple. Hold position. Help has arrived. Do not engage enemy forces until further notice. Lisa Carter gathered the colony's security team in the main bunker. These men and women appeared to be simple farmers and technicians, but they had all received military training before leaving Earth. Every human colony included personnel with combat experience just in case. The fleet is here, Lisa announced. Our job is to protect the civilians and stay out of the way while the professionals handle the Zephyrians. What if the aliens attack the colony directly? Asked Tom Rodriguez, the colony's deputy security chief. Lisa smiled grimly. Then we show them why you don't threaten human families. In orbit, Commander Vexitar studied his sensors in confusion. The energy signatures his ships had detected were gone, replaced by empty space. His communications officer reported no contacts on any frequency. It was as if the approaching human ships had never existed. Impossible, Vexitar muttered. Ships cannot simply disappear. Continue scanning all frequencies. They must be using some kind of stealth technology. His tactical officer looked up from his station with concern. Sir, our communications are being jammed. We cannot contact the Dominion fleet or our bases. We are completely isolated. Vexitar felt the first hint of doubt creep into his mind. The humans had seemed helpless, but now mysterious ships were approaching with technology he did not understand. Perhaps the Galactic Council's warnings had been more than superstition. All ships, Prepare for combat, he ordered. Maximum shields, weapons powered and ready. If the humans want to fight, we will give them one they will never forget. But as Captain Turner's fleet moved into attack position, Bextar was about to learn that humans had been preparing for this fight far longer than he could imagine. The children of Earth were coming home to defend their own, and they brought with them all the fury of a species that had survived everything the universe could throw at them. 3 months after the Harvest Moon incident, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. The Great Chamber on Concordia had never been so crowded. Representatives from dozens of species filled the observation galleries, all wanting to hear what had happened to the Zephyrian Dominion. Ambassador Claire Johnson walked calmly to the human delegation's desk. She was a small woman with graying hair, looking more like a retired teacher than a representative of the galaxy's most feared species. But every alien in the chamber watched her with careful respect. The other council members had been arguing for hours before her arrival. Some demanded explanations, others wanted apologies. A few whispered about forming military alliances to contain the human threat. But when Claire took her seat, the chamber fell silent. Councillor Thiss of the Hive Collective activated the main display. Images of the Harvest Moon system appeared, showing empty space where the Zephyrian fleet had been. Long-range sensors had detected debris fields scattered across multiple star systems, but no intact ships remained. Ambassador Johnson, Thiss began carefully, the Council requires information about recent events in human space. A Zephyrian fleet of 21 ships has disappeared entirely. Our last communication with Commander Vextar indicated they were claiming a human agricultural colony. Claire looked around the chamber at the assembled alien representatives. Fear was clear in their body language, even among species that prided themselves on courage. They wanted answers, but they were afraid of what those answers might reveal. The Zephyrian Dominion attacked Harvest Moon Colony without provocation, Claire said in a calm voice. They threatened 50,000 human civilians, including women and children. They demanded complete evacuation within 48 hours. When we refused to abandon our home, they prepared to attack. Elder Sage Mirren of the Ethereal Conclave floated above her seat, her translucent form shimmering with agitation. What happened to their fleet? Our psychic networks detected massive trauma in that region of space. Thousands of minds simply vanished. The Zephyrian fleet was eliminated, Claire replied simply. Every ship, every crew member, complete destruction. Counselor Zarek of the Militant Brotherhood leaned forward aggressively. Impossible. The Zephyrians had superior numbers and firepower. Your species has minimal military presence. How could farmers defeat professional warriors? Claire smiled, but there was no warmth in it. You still do not understand what humans are. We are not farmers who learned to fight. We are fighters who chose to farm. There is a difference. Dr. Rachel Stone, Earth's chief xenobiologist, activated her presentation system. The display filled with images of Earth's evolutionary history. Predators, natural disasters, ice ages, and mass extinctions painted a picture of a world that tried to destroy everything that lived on it. Earth is what we call a death world, Dr. Stone explained. Most planets that produce intelligent life are stable and safe. Earth spent millions of years trying to kill our ancestors. Only the most adaptable, most ruthless species could survive. The images changed to show human physiology compared to other species. Dense bones, efficient muscles, redundant organ systems, and brains optimized for pattern recognition and tactical thinking. Humans were built for survival in ways that other species could barely comprehend. We are persistence predators, Dr. Stone continued. On Earth, we hunted prey animals by running them to death. We can maintain pursuit for days without rest. We form pack bonds that allow unprecedented coordination. We are problem solvers who adapt to any environment. Ambassador Krell of the Andalite Federation studied the data with growing alarm. Your colonies appear peaceful and defenseless. How do you hide such military capabilities? We do not hide them, Claire replied. You simply assume that peaceful means defenseless. Every human colony includes personnel with military training. Every civilian receives basic combat instruction. Every settlement can become a fortress if threatened. Counselor Thess activated the Hive Collective's ancient archives. The records stretched back over 1,000 years, documenting every known contact between humans and other species. The pattern was always the same. 12 different civilizations have attacked human settlements, Thess announced to the chamber. The Corvin Empire, the Nexar Unity, the Crystalline Hegemony, and 9 others. All of them were either destroyed completely or forced to retreat with massive casualties. None would discuss what happened to them. Why do your records call humans the deathworlders? Zarek demanded. Because that is what we are, Claire answered. We come from a planet that tried to kill us for millions of years. We learned to kill back. When you threaten our families, we remember what we are. The chamber erupted in nervous conversation as the implications became clear. Humanity was not a young species learning to explore space. They were an ancient predator that had been carefully controlling its expansion to avoid triggering galactic panic. Elder Sage. Mirren's psychic abilities detected the truth that terrified her. You have been restraining yourselves. The response to Harvest Moon was considered proportional by your standards. What would happen if you truly went to war? Claire was quiet for a long moment before answering. Earth has not fought a full military engagement in over 2 centuries. We prefer peace. But if forced to defend ourselves without restraint, we could sterilize entire star systems. Our technology appears conventional because we choose to make it appear that way. The revelation hit the Council like a physical blow. The peaceful farmers and traders that other species had dismissed were actually apex predators with technology that could destroy civilizations. They had been hiding in plain sight for centuries. What do you want? Counselor Zarek asked quietly. What are your demands? We want what we have always wanted, Claire replied. To be left alone to live our lives in peace, to raise our children and grow our crops without interference. But if anyone threatens our families, they will discover why attacking humans is the last mistake most species ever make. The Galactic Council voted unanimously to establish new protocols for interacting with human space. No military vessels could approach human colonies without prior authorization. All territorial disputes involving human settlements would be mediated by the Council. Any species that attacked human civilians would face complete isolation from galactic society. As the session ended, representatives from dozens of species approached the human delegation with offers of trade, alliance, and friendship. Fear had transformed into respect, and respect into opportunity. Humanity's reputation as the galaxy's apex predator had opened doors that diplomacy alone could never have unlocked. 6 months later, Jake Morrison stood in his wheat field on Harvest Moon, watching the morning sun rise over crops that were bigger and healthier than ever before. Ships from across the galaxy brought gifts and trade offers to the colony that had triggered the galaxy's understanding of human nature. Lisa Carter joined him, carrying reports of similar developments on human colonies throughout known space. No one threatened human settlements anymore. Pirates avoided human shipping lanes. Border disputes were settled quickly in humanity's favor. Do you think we did the right thing? Jake asked, watching alien traders negotiate with his colonists. We protected our families, Lisa replied. We showed the galaxy that humans cannot be pushed around. Sometimes that is the only language bullies understand. Children played in the streets of the growing settlement, their laughter carrying across the fields. They would grow up in a universe where being human meant being respected, where their homes were safe from alien aggression, where their species was known not as victims but as survivors. Ambassador Claire Johnson stood before the newly expanded Galactic Council, addressing representatives from over 50 species. The chamber had been rebuilt to accommodate the growing number of civilizations that wanted formal relations with humanity. Earth extends friendship to all peaceful species, Claire announced. We offer trade, knowledge, and cooperation to those who approach us with respect. We ask only to be left alone to live our lives as we choose. She paused, looking around the chamber at the assembled aliens who hung on her every word. But understand this clearly. We are the children of a world that tried to kill us for millions of years and failed. We learned to survive by ensuring that threats do not get a second chance. We hope for peace, but we are always prepared for war. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humans appeared peaceful because they chose to be peaceful, not because they were weak. They were farmers and traders, because they had already proven themselves as warriors. They were the most successful predator species in known space, and they would protect their own with all the fury that evolution had given them. The children of Earth had taken their place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as protectors. They asked for nothing more than the right to exist in peace, but they had made it clear that anyone who threatened that peace would face the full might of a species that had conquered death itself. The universe was a safer place for those who understood this lesson, and a very dangerous place for those who did not.